Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Aquarium for Dummies. I'm your host Torsten, and in this series we're going to keep things extremely simple, and I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts and my experiences on the hobby. In this episode we're going to talk about the main starting point on the hobby, and that is what tank do you start off with, and dive into a few branches on what tank size is the best for you, if you should go for just a tank or a set, and a few other things. So let's get started straight away, and let's go with the first topic, and what tank size is the best for you to start the hobby off with. Now, the aquarium hobby has gotten pretty inexpensive over the years, and big tanks have become cheaper and cheaper, and getting a big tank is pretty appealing. Big tanks just look amazing, they are pretty stunning, but the best starter size tank in my opinion is between 30 and 60 liters. Now, I'm going to be speaking in liters, though I'll put everything up in gallons on the side here. But yes, 30 to 60 liters, that doesn't really sound like that much, though believe me, it is more than enough to start off with. Any tank size smaller than 30 liters, I would definitely recommend to stay away from if you're new to the hobby. The smaller your tank, the quicker problems can occur and the quicker things can just go wrong, and that can deter you from the hobby. The same goes for anything bigger than 60 liters. With big tanks come big problems, and big problems just take a lot of time to deal with. Whereas if you have a problem with a smaller size tank like 30 to 60 liters, you can deal with the problem pretty quickly by just quickly doing a 50% water change most of the time. Which brings us to the next topic of getting a medium-sized tank, and that is the maintenance time. With a medium-sized tank, you just don't need to spend that much time on maintenance all the time. Water changes, cleaning the glass, and maintaining the filter are pretty quick and easy to do, and if you do have problems in your tank, then you can deal with them pretty quickly, and the less time you actually spend on sorting out a problem or doing maintenance in your tank, the more fun the hobby is actually going to be at the end of the day. One of the number one reasons though why I would definitely suggest going for a 30 to 60 liter tank, and that is to save money. To have quite a long-term success in your tank, you do need a well-established substrate, and you do need quite a few plants in your tank. Both of these aren't really that cheap, yet if you do have a lot of plants in your tank, you're definitely sorted out for great success for later on. The same goes for hardscape. Hardscape is pretty damn expensive, and the smaller your tank is, the less hardscape you need to just create a stunning aquascape in the end. Now, you've decided to go for a 60 liter tank, though where do you go on from there? In the hobby, there are two options. You can get the tank separately just by itself and get each and every equipment as you so please, or you can go with a beginner-friendly starter set. In my opinion, starter sets are definitely the way to go if you are new to this hobby. As the name suggests, you obviously get everything just with one purchase. Almost every single company out there sells a starter set, and each starter set comes obviously with a tank, a filter, a heater, and with a light. A few other companies do throw in a few other extra bits like either fish food, a quick start, plant fertilizer, or even a bag of substrate, depending on what brand you have actually chosen to go with. One thing that I absolutely do not like and definitely would recommend to not go for are the all-in-one inclusive kits that have an integrated stand, filter, and light onto the tank. These tanks with the integrated systems, they look pretty cool. They are also pretty stylish, though later on down the line, if you do want to upgrade your system, you can't take off the light, you can't take off the filter, you can't actually remove the tank from the equipment itself, and that does make it a little bit frustrating in the end if you do want to add a bigger filter or a stronger light. This obviously brings us to the next topic, and that is that you can actually upgrade your system later on down the line with any startup set. If you do have success with your tank and everything is running perfectly, but you do want to upgrade the light over time, or the filter or the heater, well, that is easily done with a starter set. All you need to do is just remove the old filter or the old light that you want to replace with any sort of upgrade down the line. Now, as mentioned in the beginning, there are a ton of companies out there that sell starter kits, and I want to sort of list them from cheapest to most expensive. In my opinion, the cheapest starter sets out there come from the company Tetra, Ep.1, Dana, Vialia, and Diversa. I'll put the companies' names up on the side here so you can go look at the tanks yourself. All of these tanks that these companies sell, they are pretty cheap, and usually they are all in the 60 liter range. Now, other companies that I would sort of put in the middle of the price range are Superfish, Aquel, Fluval, and Amtra. These companies, they sell some pretty good starter sets, usually around the 40 to 60 liter mark, and with those tanks, you can actually go quite a long way before you actually need to upgrade any of the systems. Their filters, their lights, and their heaters, they do an excellent job of growing plants, filtering your water, and keeping everything stable. So in my opinion, if you do want to get started with a good starter set, definitely go for the middle class price brands. With them, you are going to have a long-term success of their product. Now, with companies that sell the most expensive starter sets, I would definitely put Denila and Fluval there. Now, these starter sets, they are pretty expensive, but they are pretty good quality in the end of the day. The main feature on these two starter sets, I would say, is the glass itself. Almost all of Denila's tanks have a panorama glass in the middle, which looks quite cool from the front, and Fluval does have a curved front glass as well, making the viewing experience of your tank from the front way nicer. Though these features aren't really that necessary if you want to get started in the hobby, just a flat front glass will look just fine at the end of the day. Though this brings us to topic number 3, and even though there are a ton of brands out there that sell an amazing product, definitely go for something secondhand. Depending on where you live in this world, go onto any secondhand platform that you have available and just look around for any secondhand tanks or tank setups or equipment that is there for sale. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that have started off the hobby. They unfortunately just didn't have success with their first setup, or they just didn't enjoy the hobby in the end, and they are now wanting to sell whatever they have. Buying secondhand is going to save you just so much money. Most of the things that are sold secondhand are most probably still in perfect working condition, and as I said in the beginning, the more money you can save to buy plants, hardscape, and a good bag of substrate will definitely make the hobby way more enjoyable, as you will have way more stable water parameters with a lot of plants and a good substrate, and you're going to have long-term success with a good planted tank and obviously some good fish health as well. So before you do buy anything new, definitely consider going for anything secondhand. Now, one of my very first tanks that I started off the hobby with was a complete beginner set from Tetra. This tank came with an internal filter, heater, and a light, and obviously the tank itself, and they worked all perfectly fine for quite a few years. Even though after a few years I did upgrade all of the systems, I did get some new lights that are more specialized in actually growing plants, and I also got a canister filter in the end because I did want to utilize all of the space inside of my tank. This tank here is a 60-liter tank, and it is quite a good sized tank to start off with, as you can see. I've got quite a bit of hardscape in here, I've got a lot of plants, and in a 60-liter tank you can also keep quite a variety of fish very happily. This right here is my 3-foot tank with a volume of 200 liters, and as I did mention, maintenance always takes quite a bit of time with this tank. Doing a 50% water change, cleaning the glass, and taking care of the filter usually takes me around about 45 minutes or so, which does eat away quite a bit of time once a week. One of the main reasons why I actually have such a big tank here in my fish room is because I actually got this tank secondhand for €1. As I mentioned, definitely go for anything secondhand. If you do consider going for a secondhand tank, you can go for something bigger because, as I mentioned, at the end of the day, you're going to have way more money to actually fill out the scape with hardscape and plants. And as almost everyone in the hobby will tell you, the more plants you can add to your scape, the better the success of your tank is going to be in the long run. Though, as I mentioned, definitely start off with something small. Both of these tanks here are under 30 liters and they didn't break the bank at all. One of the best things when starting with a small tank is you actually have space for more small tanks. As you can see, a small tank doesn't take up a lot of space. They can look absolutely stunning if you are successful with your first tank and you are enjoying the hobby. Then you can start off a brand new ecosystem in another small tank, hone in your skills and just gain more knowledge about the hobby. And then later down the line, a big tank will be just as easy as actually a small tank. Now, before we end the video, let's sum everything up quickly one more time. Definitely start off with a medium-sized tank. As mentioned, it'll just save you a lot of money and it'll also save you a lot of hassle and a lot of time for maintenance and for if anything goes wrong. There are a ton of brands out there that sell complete beginner sets. I would definitely recommend to start off with one of those. If you do enjoy the hobby and have success with your tank, upgrading your equipment later on down the line is also quite a lot of fun. And then lastly, definitely try to go for anything secondhand. As mentioned, this is just going to save you a lot of money and it's going to give an old tank a new life and a new home. And in my opinion, that is also quite a cool thing to do. Otherwise though, I would say that that is the end of the first episode. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Tell me your thoughts on any other topics that I should maybe cover, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell not to miss out on future episodes of Aquarium for Dummies. As I mentioned, I'm your host Torsten. Let's keep the aquarium hobby simple, and I'll catch you in the next one.